Welcome, everybody, to the land of the rising sun. We are here at Twin Ring Motegi for the 7th round of the NASCAR 1-Up Retro Cup Series. It's been a while since stock cars have returned to Japan, but here we are for the Muse Forever 400. I'm Griff McDermott alongside Ryan Caggiano for this race, and now that we're off of American soil, we can now focus on some unique tracks that the U.S. has yet to offer us. Multiple lanes can be used to pass here, both the inside and outside, producing plenty of passing opportunities. So my question is, what are we going to expect on the start of this race? Are we going to expect it to be orderly, single-file fashion, or are we going to see three-wide battling consistently throughout every start of this race?
Well, I know the neutrals will probably want the free ride just because it's going to make more exciting combat. But I reckon this might be single lane early on and then go into the free ride later on.
I can imagine, because this pavement has not been touched for a while, similarly to Pikes Peak. But unlike Pikes Peak, this track is way out in the middle of nowhere on the main island of Japan, and not many series have used it since then. However, it's in just enough of a good condition for us to compete on today. Is that going to play a factor at all, the difference in the tires compared to what they can handle on this pavement?
Oh, absolutely. When you compare it to the US tracks and how well maintained they are compared to Motegi tonight, it's going to be a much more intense race based on the rubber, based on the driver's tactics. There's so much more going to be involved in this race.
And with a record number of drivers entered in this race, the 38-car field is set and ready to go with qualifying taking place yesterday. We can give you the full starting lineup. Kevin Carter puts his Dodge on the front row and on pole position today, and Bobo Jones, the Daytona winner, is alongside him. Row 2 has Duke Ansack in the number 3 and Chris Maley in the 44 in 3rd and 4th respectively. Nice little thing going on for those two cars in qualifying yesterday. Ricky Freeman Jr. in his new LA 2028 endorsed ride lines up 5th, alongside two-time winner this season, Justin Hutchinson, in the 28. Brandon Beal in his second ever start lines up 7th alongside Oxendine, who had a really solid run last time out in Vegas. Can he continue that momentum here today? Car number 30 lines up in 9th alongside Miles Mashburn in the 72 in the 10th position. And in row 6, position number 11, is the 75, this time decked out with sponsors from the local crowd, hoping to bring some notoriety of NASCAR to the Japanese people. And alongside him is Richard Herman in the 53, alongside in 12th. Peter Onjak in the number 2 makes his series debut, filling in for the injured Caden Atkings today, while Stephen Gale starts alongside him. Mattiello and Thomas are 15th and 16th, respectively. Row 9 has Josh Drake in the 86 and Ace in the 24, hoping for his first top 10 of the season. And rounding out your top 20 is Blair in the 69, and the 59, making his series debut, is Zachary Fitzwater in the 20th position. 21st is Sam Donotto, 22nd is Jack Porkins, and in row 12 we have Jack Halleck, last week's pole sitter, and Nick Ortiz, an uncharacteristically low qualifying performance from him. Let's see if he can make a charge for the field. King and Honcho make up 25th and 26th, followed by Christian and Stephen Hunter in row 14. And row 15 to round out your top 30 is Paul McKinney in the 34 and Jacob Johnson, your Chicagoland Cinderella story, in 30th. Seth Taylor in 31st, followed by your second place man in points, John Martin, down only by 2 points at this point in the season. He's hoping to charge for the field quickly to gain lost points. Jeffrey Finguy and Cal Farrell line up together in the row behind him, followed by Arthur Xavier and Alexa Lutchin in the 50, starting in 36th. And rounding out your field on the final row are two drivers making their series debuts, Braden Saul in the 78 and Molina in the 23, making his series debut as well in the Tide Machine. And with the field being set with qualifying over today, we are ready for the green flag, and we will bring it to you shortly, right after this. The field of 38 now bunched up behind the pace car, and the pace car is already off the pit road, leaving us in the hands of Kevin Carter and Bobo Jones for the series start in Japan. The field's bunched up together, 2 by 2 down the line. The green flag is flying, and we're underway here in Twin Ring Motegi with Kevin Carter getting a solid jump on the field. He has about a car length's lead over Ansack and Jones going into turn 1.
Yeah, that's what you want to see early on. You want to try and get that momentum, get the speed going, especially in this track.
Carter's got a good jump off of 2. He's got about 2 car lengths now on Duke Anzac, who's cleared Bobo Jones for second. As now you see Freeman Jr. now on Jones's inside. He's going for third place, mind me. As Carter looks to have the advantage early, coming off of turn 4, he will lead lap number 1 from Anzac, Jones, and Freeman.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good start, but it's still early on in this race. You've still got another 49, so you just got to keep that momentum.
But now Carter's getting an even bigger lead on Anzac now. He's got 3 car lengths now, 4 car lengths, but that gap's starting to close a little bit as Anzac's starting to close back in on Carter's, coming off a 2 down the long back straightaway for the second time this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, these straightaways is going to be your best friends in this race. You just got to use them wisely and well.
As we see Duke Anzac go for the lead, and he's going to take it. Our first lead change is on lap number 2. Duke Anzac's now out front in his Chevrolet, ahead of Carter now, who's right on his bumper in second place, and Carter wants to take the lead right back going into turn 1.
They're basically just saying, here you go, I'll give you this, I'll give you that.
Anzac did get 1 bonus point for leading that lap, but now Carter wants it back. He wants 2 bonus points, and including the one for leading the most laps. As we see Brandon Beal make his way into the top 5 in the Home Depot Dodge. But up front, it is Kevin Carter in another Dodge leading the Chevrolets of Anzac, Freeman, and Jones, coming off of turn 4 for the 3rd time today. As it appears we've got a yellow flag on the track. See some fresh smoke, some fresh skid marks. The caution flag is out already. It looks like it's Cal Farrell in the 96 that may have had some contact. I saw another car back there. It looks like Jacob Johnson's got some damage too. I believe it's those 2 that were involved in an accident early. I'm going to need to see a replay of what happened here, but I can't imagine it was anything good.
Nah, especially early on, you don't really want to see that at all.
This is what happened with Johnson. He was running near the tail end of the field alongside Braden Saul, and it looks like Lutchin maybe gets into him from behind. I think they're about to get 3 wide here. Yep, that's exactly what happened. They all came together at the same time. Lutchin turned down into him, nowhere for Farrell to go, and Johnson just went for a 360, as did Farrell. Both appear to be able to continue in this race. No real major damage to speak of. Little scrapes along the left-hand side of the 0-3, but other than that, they should be well and ready to continue as normal in this race, just with a bit more of a challenge making their way from the back.
Yeah, but they are very fortunate to get away with that and still be able to race, especially after a crash like that. But it shows, going 3 wide, not the way to go, but 2 wide makes it a lot more interesting. It's going to be very interesting what happens to the rest of the race. And
with the field now bunched up behind the pace car, we will be right back with the action in a moment. We'll bring you the restart of the Muse Forever 400. When we return to you from Motegi, we will be right back with the action shortly. And the lights are out on the pace car, which means we've got 1 lap to go now until half a lap now. So Kevin Carter leads, Anzac, and it looks like the 10th place runner of Mattiello is out of the race. He is out of the race with a mechanical failure from 10th place coming to get the green. That's unfortunate for a guy who really needed a strong run. He was looking for his first top 10 all year.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Shipping those cars from the States to Japan might have had some impact. And it probably would have had some impact to the car itself, and unfortunately it's happening here today.
Our second retiree already, our first or second retiree already. I thought I saw one more in the back of the field, but it appears we're getting ready for the restart now. Carter ahead of Anzac, Freeman, Jones, and Beal. The green flag is out. We're back racing, and once again, Carter gets a solid launch. Not as good as last time, though, because Anzac's right on his bumper again.
They're basically going bumper to bumper there, and he is not giving him any room to breathe.
Oh, Anzac's got a problem, I think. He's slowing down, stacking up the field behind him. Now he's 3 wide for position. We've seen how that went earlier in the race, as now Freeman is by, Beal is by. Now Jones and Onjack looking to make a move on him now. They're 3 wide. This can't end well, I don't believe.
No, it never does in this track. It never does well.
Oh, and there they go. Anzac into the wall. Onjack into the wall. They're spinning. They're stacking up behind him. Onjack sideways. And the caution flag is back out again. I knew that would happen as soon as they went 3 wide in the turn 3.
How many laps was that now? Was that 2 laps before the last crash, or was it 3? I can't keep count.
We had not even managed to complete a single lap after that restart when that came out. Peter Onjak's not having a great time in his first race, filling in for Caden Atkings. We're wishing him well back in the States, but he can't be happy seeing his car with Peter Onjak behind the wheel, sliding to a stop on the middle of the front straightaway.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully he gets a very well safe recovery as soon as possible, but he's not been having a good time having a look at his car going as slow as it is right now.
So this was the restart. Onjak restarted in 7th place, but this really all starts with Duke Ansack getting a really bad launch off of turn 2, and that allowed Freeman to get by, and now the whole field's stacking up behind, and look at them all. They're 3 wide already.
Yeah, I mean, I feel so bad for Duke, and I feel so bad for the new guy driving the number 2, but what can you do? That's the problem when you drive these cars, is the contact's awful.
As you can see, they all just came in together, and Bobo Jones was the meat in the sandwich, and it wasn't as bad. They didn't all come together, but it was still not a good outcome for Peter Onjak, and he gently slides to a stop. Doesn't look like any major damage. Might be a little bit on the right front where he mashed it into the wall. But other than that, it doesn't appear that he's got any major contact. He'll be able to continue as well after just about 10 laps.
Yeah, that's always a good positive thing. Surviving a crash and keep on racing, that's always a good thing in this sport.
And after what happened last time out at Las Vegas, we're just glad that number 2 is able to continue. As he makes his way down pit road, probably for some minor repairs, we'll keep an eye on this 2 for you while the caution flag is out. The field is bunched up behind the pace car. We can have the time to look at Peter Onjak's machine sitting in his pit stall getting minor repairs done. He should be able to continue. The damage didn't look too severe. He'll be off pace, and he'll probably not get a top 10 like he was hoping for, but he'll be in the race when it matters.
Yeah, exactly. Still able to provide a crucial into the standings no matter where you drive. As long as you get some good points in there.
Yeah, the points will be for himself because Caden Atkings is still in the U.S. recovering from his injuries, so these points will be going to Onjak, and he's not going to get very many if he's going to finish back in, I believe, right now he's running in the 36th position.
Too true, too true.
And as Onjak catches up to the rest of the field now, we are safe and ready to take you to the restart when it is ready for us to recommence this race. We'll be right back once again for the restart again after 11 laps have been completed at Motegi. And as the field is back behind the pace car, the lights are out again. We'll get the restart this time by. Let's look at your top 10. Kevin Carter leads. Brandon Beal second. Great run for him in his second start. Ricky Freeman Jr. is third. In the 56, Bobo Jones is fourth, and the 75's made its way up to the front of the field in that bright pink paint scheme with a local sponsorship adorning the 75 this week. Chris Maley in the 6th position, good run for him. Justin Hutchinson in 7th after winning in Vegas. He is in 7th position. Stephen Gale in 8th. Miles Mashburn in 9th, and Ace in the 10th. Oh, and we've got another engine failure coming to the green. This time it's Blair running in 11th. Her race is over already after just 13 laps. Her engine is going sour. She's not going to make it to the line.
It's unfortunate. Again, the shipping of the cars coming from the US to Japan has caused some minor damage, especially since they were all shipped by the sea, and the sea might have had some impact.
She'll give up her position to pit and retire from the race, as Ansack will now move up to 11th. But she will pit along with the pace car as the field minus Blair will come to the green flag, with once again Kevin Carter leading this race from Beal, Freeman, Jones, your top 4. Pace car's out, green flag's out. We're racing once again at Motegi. Carter and Beal get away from 3rd place well as they go sailing off into turn 1 once again.
Yeah, let's see how many laps we can do before another yellow happens. Hopefully none. Not none. More. We want a lot more laps. We want nice, clean racing.
Backstretch is very wide, but we still got plenty of racing action taking place at the time. The field blasts down the back straightaway going into turn 3. Carter has a solid lead, but it might not last because Ricky Freeman Jr. is going for the lead right now.
He's hungry. He wants that points. He needs the points.
Can't make it stick, though. Carter hangs on. He'll continue to lead. from Freeman now in second place, and the 75's made its way into the third position as Beal drops to fourth, and there's a side-by-side battle for fifth between Jones and Maley.
Yeah, there'll be good battles going for. Even the difference between fifth and sixth is just crucial. That you just want to claim those points.
Side by side for fourth, side by side for second. Now is the 75. This car, it must have some kind of lucky charm on it with that sponsorship on there. In Japan, making a solid run for it, and he's gonna go for the lead now. First time we've seen him up front since, well, last week at Vegas before the wreck happened, but he's right on Kevin Carter's bumper. He wants to lead this thing.
I don't think I've ever seen the 75 ever make it to the front line. It's going to be very interesting if it holds.
He did lead a couple of laps in Las Vegas, but dropped back after a while and then got in that massive multi-car accident. So he hasn't led for very long, but he smelled the lead once in Vegas, and he wants it again. He's right on the bumper of Carter going into 3.
Yeah, he's tasted it. He wants some more.
Coming off of 4 to 71 and 75 bumper to bumper. Carter can hold him off for now. Carter leads this lap, but it looks like he might lose it going into 1 because that 75 behind him is hungry. They're side by side going into 1. He's going to get it this time, I believe. And the pass is made.
Yeah, he's done it.
75 out front. Great to see. With Carter slipping back to second, he should be able to hold off Ricky Freeman Jr. for the time being. And man, once that car got clear, it's gone. He's smooth sailing from there. And man, this is a special sponsorship occurrence because the people he's representing on that car are here as his guests of honor for this race. And I can imagine his pit lane's got to be a real happy place as he takes the lead for the first time.
Oh yeah, the crowd's going to be going nuts for the 75. You know, showing some local businesses around here, along with the pit crew as well. They're going to be super exciting.
And we've lost 3 cars.
Going.
We've got 35 cars left in this race. We've lost Blair, we've lost Mattiello, and we've lost Braden Saul to mechanical trouble. But other than them, we've got everybody on track. Everybody's on the lead lap. 35 cars running, and it's that 75 car that's pulled off a major lead over Kevin Carter. It's grown even more. It's got to be over a second now.
Hey, geez, did 75 install the nitro today?
Exactly a 1 second lead at that last lap as Freeman starts to drop a little bit, bumps Chris Maley and Brandon Beal now into a battle for third place.
Yeah, that 75 is just cruising away. It's more about just trying to get pole position, try and get a solid podium positioning.
Yeah, look, the field's strung out a bit more, though, so we may not see more of those 3-wide accidents, but that's fine. We'd rather see some hard racing for position as Beal now drops behind Chris Maley, and he's going to try and go after him again once he's got the momentum built up. He might get it going into 1 and 2 this time.
Yeah, he's got to be closed in on him slowly but steadily, but you got to be patient. There's still plenty of laps left.
Looking back for the rest of the top 10, you can see they're all pretty much on top of each other. Richard Herman hanging on to the final position in there. And look at Nick Ortiz. He started back in 24th, and he's already gained half the spots he lost in qualifying. He's up to 12th now with just 20 laps completed. Normally, he starts up front and drops to the back. This is a welcome occurrence. Starting at the tail and making his way up to the front is Nick Ortiz. He's running in 12th place.
Yeah, Nick, he's a very strong driver. We don't really see it because he's always positioned so high up for the podium, and then he drops back low, but this time he has to show his worth, and he's showing it today.
That's got to be his secret, isn't it? Start in the front, finish in the back, so he might as well start in the back and finish up front, as now Chris Maley is going to make a move on Kevin Carter for second place, and Beal's going to try and follow him.
Yeah, let's see if he can catch the draft and help himself to it.
Maley is clear, Beal's still
close.
side by side. Freeman's looking for room, but Maley is solidly in second. Maley needs a solid run. He hasn't had that many good runs this season. He was running well at Bristol before a crash took him out. He was running top 10 at Las Vegas before Ricky Freeman Jr. actually put him in the wall as Freeman makes a pass on him now. That cost Freeman 10 points, but hopefully they put that beside them now, and they're going to race cleanly from now on in this race as Maley now drops from second down to 5th as the rest of the top 5 makes their way by.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for the 50s, for the 44, but it's happy news for the other three cars. Try and get into a podium.
It's still early, and Mealy's still hanging on to a top 5 position, as the gap is actually starting to close a little bit now. It's down to about 6-7 tenths of a second, but it looks like Beal and Freeman would rather fight each other than make a challenge for the lead, as that pink Ford is flying right now.
Yeah, they have. I think sooner or later they're going to have to realize they have to work together and hurt each other more so.
Ricky Freeman Jr. is not the type of driver who works well with others. He wants to take what's his. He wants to take positions his way, and he wants to stay up front. And he's doing a good job of it. He's running in a 3rd position, but I know he wants more than that, as the lead is just that far away. It's getting closer and closer every lap.
Yeah, he can sniff the lead. He can sniff pole position. He just needs to try and get more hungry and try and do things his way, but will his way work? We'll see.
That Home Depot Dodge is getting really wide, though, to hold off Freeman and Carter now, but the gap is actually really close now. It was down to 2 tenths of a second the last lap, and it should be similar length this time by probably about half a second now. And it is 4 tenths of a second, about half a second now. Looking above the track, you can see the racing line is quite wide here, and these cars are using every inch of it to maneuver this old racetrack as the 75 continues to dominate this race.
Yeah, basically holding on to that high line, just trying to get as much use of the tires for any good part of the track that's still been used.
Despite the age of the track,
what they're trying to do in this track.
Despite the age of the track, it does not appear we will need a pit stop in this race, as these tires, and the fuel load particularly, should last us to the end, so we should be fine to the end of this race, as we've passed halfway now in this race. The 75 continues to lead from Beal, Freeman, Carter, and Stephen Gale's made his way up into the top 5, displacing Mealy for that position. But the gap's beginning to grow again. It's back up to a full second now, because that car up front cannot be stopped at the moment.
No, the 75, I think, has just realized I might just go have a nice Sunday drive and do this, because he's just on cloud 9 right now. He doesn't need to worry.
We'll take you for a lap now around Motegi following this 75 car. It's a very bumpy surface. This track has not been repaved in a while, but you can see the racing line's very wide here going through 1 and 2. It's a little lower banked than in 3 and 4, but it's a lot longer time through the turn, coming out of turn 2, blasting down the long back straightaway.
Yeah, exactly. It's just all about holding those lines, making sure you drive the straight and narrow, and making sure you keep your turns tight and your body clean.
3 and 4 is a little more banked, but it's a lot shorter of a turn, so you're probably going to be around the same speed. As the 75 launches off of turn 4, he'll lead this lap as well, and that is a lap around Twin Ring Motegi's oval. A very bumpy circuit, and this 75 is managing those bumps perfectly right now.
Yeah, the sponsorship, I believe, has helped him today. He might have gotten up some old luck today. He did some prayers, I think it might have given him some luck.
There are plenty of those around here, as now Stephen Gale's making a charge up to the front of the field around Beal and around Freeman. He's up to 3rd place now. Gale had a strong run going at Las Vegas before Caden Atkings got into him to trigger that massive pileup. He didn't get the result he deserved at Las Vegas. He wants to try and rebound at Motegi.
Yeah, he's really hungry after that disappointment accident, but he's hoping now to try and get podium and also try and challenge for the lead if they can somehow catch the 75.
There's just one problem with that. That 75 has built a 2-second lead now over Kevin Carter and Stephen Gale. It's going to be quite a long shot, unless there's a never yellow flag, and I'm not going to count anything out here. But barring that 75 is going to be really hard to catch.
Oh yeah, exactly. I think this is the furthest time difference between 1st and 2nd I've ever seen.
And it maintains that way at about 2 seconds flat between himself and Carter. Carter can't. He's been so close so many times. He was so close to victory at Bristol before a restart ruined his efforts. And then at Vegas, he charged his way up to another top 5, but he just was too little too late, and he finished, I believe, in 5th place. But now he's in 2nd, and he only sees 1 car between him and victory. He wants it, but he's going to have to work real hard to get there.
Yeah, he's got to work hard, but he's also got to work smart. There's still 20 laps left, and that 2-second split is going to hurt him as well. So he's got to.
And just like that, Carter's cut a half a second out of that lead. It's down to 1.5 now. As Mealy's going to try and make his way back up. Brandon Beal's dropping back a little bit. He was running in the top 5, but now he's going to have to take a challenge from Josh Drake. That's for 8th place.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for the number 44 to try, who's been sneaking down the ranks, but he's still top 10. It's still a fine position.
Yeah, Mealy's running, should be running in about 6th place. As Mashburn now has gotten around him. First time we've seen that 72 in the top 5. We've seen him start in the back before and win races before, so shouldn't be surprised to see him running up front as Beal continues to lose spots. That one was 9th to Herman, and he'll just barely hang on to a top 10 run.
Yeah, it's good for Herman, but it's going to be a long way still. We've still got at least 20 laps to go.
Coming to 18 laps left this time by, and Beal still needs to continue his run of finishing well. He was on pace for a good finish at Vegas before the wreck hindered his efforts, but he's hanging on in 10th for now. But Christian and Ortiz are right there, and they're ready to strike.
Yeah, Ortiz and his buddy here are just waiting to pounce, waiting to see any little accident, and they will pounce.
Shout out to Zach Fitzwater in the 59 in his first start. He's running in 13th right now, as we'll take you through the entire running order since the lead battle is settled down for now. Hunter's in 14th ahead of your Pikes Peak winner Thomas. Then King and Ace are running together. Ace was a contender for a top 10 early, but he's fallen off pace a little bit, as was this 30, but he runs in the outside of the top 20. He's running in about 17th, 18th ahead of Oxendine, who hasn't put on quite a show enough to make up for his lack of a win in Vegas. He was running well there. He might not get that solid of a finish here. As Lutchin's in the 50s trying to see if she can get around Denoto and Oxendine, but that would lead to a 3-wide situation that we definitely don't want.
No, we definitely don't want that, especially at this time of the race right now.
We might get it, though, because Lutchin is hungry. She wants another top 10 to go with the one she got at Pikes Peak. She's hungry for it, but it looks like things are going to settle down with that incident as she clears the 30 and the 9, and she will move up into the top 20.
I mean, you really, everyone wants to aim for the top 10, but really, it's not really possible. So aiming for top 15 is still decently well, so hopefully she can try and get that at the end of the race.
Honcho and Finguy in the 09 and the 92. They run just outside the top 20. McKinney is there as well. Duke Anzac never really recovered from his contact with Peter Onjak. He's running outside the top 20 as well in about 23rd, 24th place. Seth Taylor right behind him never really made a splash in this race. He's right behind Anzac, while even further behind is Jack Porkins. And most importantly, this 28 of Justin Hutchinson, last week's winner, has not had a great race at all, even though he has gotten by Jack Halleck. That only moves him up to about 29th position. He's struggling in that 28.
Yeah, I think he might have gotten a bit of jet lag from the flight. He did come in last night only, so he might be still suffering from jet lag.
Jacob Johnson's never recovered from his contact, but Molina's having a solid debut in his first race. Nothing flashy, but he's going to run all the laps today. Having a solid run. Xavier and Martin side by side. Martin really did not need this run. He was only 2 points out of the lead going into this race, and that 75 car is the points leader, and he's just been dominating. Tough run for the 26, but he does get around Xavier and Molina, so that'll bump him up to, I believe, 31st. Still nowhere where he wanted to be.
No, absolutely no, especially since he's so close to getting that top position in the points, and seeing that number 75 just drive away with it. And he needs to try and get in as many spots as possible.
Last on the road is Peter Onjak. That damage must have been more serious than I expected because he's well off pace, well off the next car ahead of him, and he's only about a straightaway ahead of the leaders. He might lose the lap if the caution doesn't come out.
Yeah, but that's also going to play impact to the leaders itself. They could hold to 75.
We saw that happen at Vegas and at Pikes Peak. It's happened before, and I'm sure it'll happen again if we get to that point. But Carter's going to try and regain lost ground the hard way. He doesn't want to wait for a lap car. The lead's already down to less than a second.
Yeah, he's trying to work the engine as hard as he can while still maintaining it. It's going to be a close race, but hopefully he can try and gain those seconds.
That gap is still closing. It's down to 8/10 the last lap, and now it's down to 6/10. This Carter's closing in quickly, and no one else seems to be able to, though. Because Freeman's trying to hold off Mashburn and Melee for 4th place, and Gale can't seem to make anything of it either, because he's about 2 seconds behind Carter in 2nd.
Yeah, well, it looks so. I mean, you want to try and hold that podium position no matter what, and unfortunately, that's what the 52 has to do right now.
He's got to hold off Freeman, which is no easy task, as Chris Melee can attest to from last week. It's not easy to keep Ricky Freeman Jr. at bay. But Carter continues to close the gap. It's down to 4/10 of a second. We might see a new leader for the first time in about 30 laps. Because remember, when the 75 passed Carter, he was long gone. We might see the same thing, but in reverse here.
Yeah, that's 71 realizing 75 is letting go off the gas. He smells it. He knows a mistake, and he's going to take the lead.
Right on the bumper now. The crowd here is going nuts because they want that 75 in victory lane. They want him to celebrate with his guests, but it might not happen as we see some smoke. Could that mean a yellow flag in the race? It does. We have our 3rd caution of the race at lap 40. This throws a wrench into everything.
It does, especially since it's so far late into the race. If this takes a long time, we might see a very close end to this race, like we did at Pikes Peak.
You know, we very well might. However, we will be able to get this race restarted. Unlike in Vegas, we will not have to resort to a one-lap shootout this time. However, this bunches not just the 75 and 71 together, but it bunches up everyone behind them as well.
And we see that 56 also made its way up to 3rd as well. So hopefully he can try and make pounds forward at the podium for the top 1. Let's see.
Looking back now for the source of the yellow flag, it appears to be Jacob Johnson again. He's not had a good day in Japan today. He was racing alongside Xavier. Could something have happened? Yep, oh, he made contact in the wall, and Xavier made some hard contact as well. Jacob Johnson has not had a good day. He's looking to be more than happy to be headed to Italy next week to get out of this.
Yeah, I mean, Japan has not really served them well. The land of the rising sun has not helped his cause as much.
The sun has not risen on his race. You can see the big dent in the right side of his car and a small one in the left. He's not had a good day, but he's still soldiering on. We're proud of him for that, being able to carry on. However, 75 continues to lead, but will that change now as we have a caution on the racetrack and an inevitable restart of this race as well? We will be right back with you for that restart. When it happens, you will not miss a second of the action from Motegi here today. Field is now bunched up behind the pace car. Pace car makes the left-hand turn down to the pit lane. Leaves us in the hands of the 75 and leading the 71 of Carter and the 56 of Freeman. Cutting off turn 4 will be coming to 6 laps to go at the restart. Everything's going to get even hairier now. Field punches up together, the green flag's out, and we're racing once again, and that is quite a jump from that 75. He almost caught him napping going in the 1.
Yeah, that's what you need now. You need to hold them off now. There's only 5 laps left. You need to make sure you keep it going, keep it straight, keep it clean. That's all you need.
They'll be coming the 5 laps to go this time, and they're in no hurry. They're in no time to waste at the behind, because Carter and Freeman are side by side, and Stephen Gale might make it 3 wide. That is not a good idea, as we've seen many times before. Looks as though they've settled the difference, though, and Carter will likely continue to hold second, and he does as we come to 5 laps to go.
Yeah, the question is, though, will they be able to work together and catch that 75 before the end of the race?
Keep in mind, Kevin Carter might not need their help, because he was able to track down the 75 from 2 seconds back. He's got a fast dodge under him, but will it be enough to catch the driver who's been dominating this race ever since about lap 17 at the end of this race?
Yeah, I mean, and also this would be very good for the 75, you know, meet up the point. Getting a nice cushion above him, above all his other races. And
with Martin's struggles today, plus he's already locked down the point for the most laps led of this race. No one can take that from him. But Carter is really itching to get a move on here. He's going to get a run on him, but will it be enough? He's got a fender on him. They're side by side going in the 1.
Ooh, it's going to be close. It's going to be close.
He draws even with him. They're close, and he just doesn't have the momentum. doesn't have the momentum off the high side. 75 keeps the position, but Carter's still got a gap to him. He can keep it up. He can regroup his efforts and go at it again. But time is running out as we come down to 3 laps to go next time they cross the line.
Yeah, it's not good for the 71. It was hoping that it would stick a bit more, but unfortunately, 75 just had a little bit more oomph in it and just held on.
Could this be history repeating itself? Remember, at Bristol, Carter got a nose under the leader at the time of Christian, but he just couldn't get the momentum off the high side, and he fell back to finish, I believe, in 3rd that day. Will we see that happen again as Carter desperately tries to make another charge at him as we come to 2 laps to go next time by?
I mean, do we want it? Honestly, it's up to the race gods, but honestly, for 71, he does not want history to repeat itself again.
As we see a 3-wide situation settle itself before it gets too serious, we come to 2 laps of racing to go. Carter is still there. There's no gap between them. And one slip by that 75, which we have not seen yet today, would seal it for Carter. But Stephen Gale's right on his bumper, too. It's still anybody's race, honestly, within this top 5.
Yeah, it's saying once again, that yellow flag has helped the low
Oh, here he comes. Here he comes. This
here.
time he's got him. Carter to the inside. This time he's got him cleared. 75 drops back. Kevin Carter now.
New leader.
Kevin Carter to the lead as we come to the white flag. This will be the final lap of the race. Kevin Carter is trying to turn back time and repeat his string of good luck. This time, hopefully, he can seal off of a win. Bristol was so long ago, and yet it still rings true for Kevin Carter. He was so close to that win, but this time, he was able to draw into the leader from 2 seconds back as they blast down the back straightaway for the final time. Carter is desperate for a win, and 75 is going to make a dive down into turn 3. It's going to be close, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Kevin Carter comes off of corner number 4. They're going to be side by side coming to the line, but it's not going to be enough. Kevin Carter puts Bristol behind him, and he wins in Motegi.
Yeah, Kevin Carter getting rid of his demons from Bristol. From Bristol, out of the way.
I wouldn't call it an upset, per se, as Carter was running in the top 5 the entire race, but still, the dominance from that 75 was quite the show, but Carter managed to overcome it still with a great performance.
Exactly, yeah.
See the 75 pull alongside Carter, giving him a thumbs up out the window. That was some good racing. No one got torn up too badly, and this race will go down in the history books.
Yeah, only just mechanical issues for this race, which is actually not the best ideal for any car, but good for that way we have no real injuries, and we pray for our guy back in the US to heal us soon.
Stephen Gale recovered to finish in 3rd place. Josh Drake made a solid charge. We didn't talk about him much today, but he managed to finish 4th. Ahead of Ricky Freeman Jr., Bobo Jones dropped a little bit. He finished 6th. Ahead of Mashburn, Beal recovered to finish 8th. Chris Maley gets another top 10 in 9th. And once again, Richard Herman quietly sneaks in another top 10 at the very end. What a race at Motegi. I wasn't expecting a whole lot from this worn-out surface, but man, did it give us a show.